Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach, and today I'm talking about why your ex feels worse over time. So obviously there's no real way of knowing for sure how your ex is feeling, especially if you're no longer in contact with them, and we're not crystal ball readers here, okay? But more than likely, your ex will feel worse over time just because that you're watching a video like this one, which is about, guidance, self-help. And a lot of people aren't really willing to change themselves. But because you're watching videos like these ones, it's very likely that you are someone who is actually willing to change, improve, and get better. Whereas your ex may not be one of those kinds of people. And because you are aiming to get better, to improve, to create a better life for yourself, to fill in your knowledge gaps about love and relationships so you can get a new and better relationship in the future, you're a different kind of breed, you're a different kind of person, and more than likely you're going to actually have a better life because you're that kind of person, because you're willing to learn and improve and get better. Whereas your ex, more than likely, isn't watching videos like this one, isn't watching videos about how to improve and get better. They're more likely just continuing on with the same life that they've always had. And so your ex will feel worse over time because they're not working through their problems. You're on a healing journey, whereas they're probably on just a masking journey. And masking, I mean, they're pretending that they're okay when they're not okay. They're suppressing their emotions. They're not trying to work through it. They're not trying to make their life better in any way. And that's a very, very high reality that could be happening with them, okay? Because people tend to not really change that much. As human beings, when we've sort of finished with the school system, we think that that's done, and self-education doesn't continue, but really, if you're someone who's watching this kind of video, you're into self-education, you're willing to learn new information, and understand humans and human behavior and things like that. So you're more likely going to have a way better quality of life just simply because you're trying to get better, you're trying to improve. But most people aren't like that. When they're done with school, they're done with school and they don't feel like they have to learn anymore, which is why you can meet someone who is 70 years old and they still act like a teenager. They still don't know how to communicate properly. They're passive aggressive, they're manipulative, and it's all because they're still a teenager mentally. Okay, whereas you, if you're watching a video like this one, you're not like that. You're actually going to mature into a proper adult who is willing to admit their mistakes and their flaws and willing to do some self-teaching and learning to get better and to improve so you can have happier and healthier relationships and have a better quality of life, okay? So it's more than likely that your ex is one of the majority, okay, who do that. So another thing as well, why your ex may feel worse over time is that they may have expectations of how things are going to be after the breakup. And expectations are usually very, very different than reality. Okay, so first of all, they may expect that you're going to chase them, that you're always going to be in their life, that you're always going to be pining after them in some way. And you're doing the opposite. You've probably gone into no contact. If you're watching a video about exes, you've probably gone into no contact. You're probably trying to move on with your life, trying to improve, trying to create a better life for yourself. And you've moved on and you're no longer in their life. You're not, and they may have expected you to continue going after them. And basically what's happened here is that you're hurting their ego by the fact that you've decided that you're no longer going to give them any attention, because they may be, even if they didn't want you back, they may have expected, expectations versus reality, on some level, that you were going to chase them, that you were always going to be there, that you were always going to be upset, that you're always going to be heartbroken over the relationship. And because you're not, because you're moving on with your life, you're no longer in contact with them, you're just doing your own thing, you're not living up to that expectation. And it hurts their ego because perhaps you chasing after them, you still pining after them, you still wanting them, made them feel good about themselves even though they didn't want to be with you. But it made them feel good. It affirmed to them that they were desired and wanted and adored, even though they may not have wanted to get back with you. But because you're not giving them that, it hurts their ego. And the reality of the situation isn't fulfilling their expectations. Okay? And it may be as well that they may have expected to get themselves into a nice, happy relationship straight away, and it just didn't happen. Maybe they thought that they could replace you. Okay? And it's happening a lot slower than they thought. Or perhaps you really were the best they ever had, and they're never going to find anyone as good as you. Okay, and that is very likely if you are someone who is willing to change, willing to improve, willing to fill in your knowledge gaps, willing to self-teach and have an improved life. Okay, because again, they might get into a relationship with someone who may let's say they're better looking than you, but maybe they're not better than you in other ways. Okay, maybe they're actually super toxic, and you were way nicer, you were way more helpful and more comforting, but this person maybe isn't any of those things. Okay, and again, it's going from their expectations versus reality. The reality is that they may have not found someone better than you, and they may not realize that yet, but they will eventually. Okay, so these are all possibilities that could potentially happen. Now, is that 100% guaranteed? Probably not. Maybe the next relationship your ex finds himself in will be more happier for them than the one that they were in when they were with you. But that's not important. That's not relevant, because if you're not in contact with them anymore, it doesn't really matter what's going on in their life. All that matters and that you should be focusing on is what's going on in your life and how you're feeling. And if you feel like you're on a healing journey, if you feel like you're improving and getting better, and you feel like the next relationship that you get in is going to be a really happy and healthy one, that's all that matters. Okay, but just going from human behavior and things that I've observed over the years is that it's very unlikely that if you're the kind of person who is willing to put in the work, the next person that your ex finds and gets into a relationship with is probably not going to be like that. So they're going to end up in a relationship, sadly, that's not as good as the one that they could have had with you. Now, a lot of the time, though, is that we go on these journeys, these after heartbreak, okay? So we start to realize that our behaviors were actually not the best when we start going on this journey. Because if you've had your heart broken and it was this ex that broke your heart, that was probably your wake-up call to watch videos like this one and to watch videos by other creators as well about improving your life and getting better, and improving your life and making a better situation for yourself and having a healthier relationship in the future. And it sort of wakes you up. When you have a heartbreak, that kind of stuff usually wakes you up. And so the breakup really was probably for your benefit, even though it may have sucked at the time and it may still suck now, but I guarantee that it will get better and it will improve if you continue with that journey of understanding and getting better, okay? And that's basically why your ex will feel worse over time, because they're not willing to do that kind of stuff, but you are. You're willing to create a better future for yourself and to develop healthier relationships, and your ex just isn't, and it's very likely that they're not. But again, this is all just speculation. There's no way to know for sure, but you can definitely put yourself in the best position possible by learning about human behavior, learning how to have a healthier relationship, improving your dating skills, and so that you can have a better relationship in the future. And when you find someone who is just way better than your ex, it could be that they're more beautiful or handsome, it could be that they're nicer, they're more friendly, they've got better prospects in life. If you just find someone who's just 100 times better than that previous person, then you're not even going to be caring so much about what your ex feels or what they're thinking anymore, because you'll be in this new life with this new person, and that is 100% a possibility for you. You just have to be open to the possibility. But I promise you that it's a mathematical certainty that you can find someone who you really like and they really like you as well, and that this person could be way better than your ex in all areas, in every single metric, okay? But you've got to be open to that possibility, and you've got to keep on dating and meeting new people until you find that person. But I guarantee that that person is out there, okay? You just got to meet enough people in order to find them, okay? So it's just It's just the law of probability. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally, and you'd like coaching with me, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com, and I shall talk to you again very soon.